All right, good afternoon, Hamilton County Schools families. We are so excited to have you guys join us for another edition of Whole Child Wednesday. If this is your first time tuning in with us, each Wednesday we go live at 3 p.m. across all of our digital platforms. We discuss stress and to manage change during this time. I'm so excited to be joined by some awesome Hamilton County Schools colleagues. I do want to encourage you to share this video. This is a new series that we're starting, and there may be some people that don't know that we're live right now. So share this with them, and I'm going to turn it over to Patricia Russell.
Yeah, thank you so much, Janelle. We're excited to be here again for week two. And then, as Janelle mentioned, we're looking forward to hearing from you. So please engage, reach out, ask questions. But I want to have give the opportunity for our co-hosts to introduce themselves as well. So we have two amazing people joining us today for their first time. So could you share your name, starting with Jennifer? Share your name and what you do with Hamilton County.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jennifer Whalen. I'm one of the social and emotional learning coaches for the district, and I serve the Opportunity Zone schools.
Good afternoon. My name is Mario Gonzalez, and I'm the school counselor at Howard Connect Academy.
Excellent. So we're excited to have you all today for your very first time with Whole Child Wednesday. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about things that students as well as parents are doing to survive being at home with their families. How are we surviving homeschooling out there in Chattanooga? So I want to open up this question to my team here that's with me today. What are some of the things that you all are doing to survive being at home with your families all day?
I don't think I've ever thought I consider myself so creative as as I find new ways to entertain myself after I get out of work. I've I've thought now I'm thinking that I create stuff now. I'm drawing. I'm going back to getting a drawing book just to draw puzzles,
Yeah.
FaceTime my family since we can't be that close to each other. So
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like you're having an opportunity to engage more in your hobbies. And that's something, if I could speak for the team, we don't always have an opportunity to do because we are so connected to our students and so passionate about the work. It leaves little time for hobbies, but that's awesome, Mario. I'm happy you're having an opportunity to draw and do things like that. Jennifer, how about you? What are some things that you're doing to just kind
Yeah.
of survive this homeschooling with your family?
Yeah, so I'm working right now from home, and I do have a 6 and a 3-year-old. So just learning how to balance, taking advice from my boss and giving myself some grace, and giving my kids some grace, and trying to be flexible. But one thing we've been doing is kind of digging through the old toy boxes, the puzzles, the games, the things we haven't gotten out in a while. We've had a lot of family time together, which has been nice. And then also just involving the kids in the daily activities, cooking, some of the cleaning. My 3-year-old was wiping down windows. He was happy to do it. So, hey, might as well get that learning in. So it's been really good. Definitely different, but we've had a lot of family time. So,
Yeah, that's awesome. So I will stay on the inside of my house if you're wanting to drop your
yeah.
6-year-old off so he can come and wipe windows and things like that.
If she sees this, she will be begging me now. So we may show up.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. Janelle, how about you and your family? What are some things that you all are doing to survive?
Some of the same, we've been speaking of pulling out the board games. I had to beat my daughter in her first game of Uno.
Oh, yeah.
So got the guitar that's been collecting some dust. So I'm hoping that by the time this is over, I'll actually know how to play. My husband bought that for me 2 years ago. I was like, you need to learn this. So now I got time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I know I've had more time to connect with family and friends. And for anyone that doesn't know, I'm a huge fan of music, just all different types of music. So having an opportunity to just go back and connect with different genres of music that I haven't engaged in a while has been really nice. And then just connecting and having these conversations with families and friends has been good as well. So I hope our community is finding creative ways to connect with their families. And if you haven't, we have some things that we're going to share with you today. Today, we're going to talk about essentials for life, which are considered also to be social emotional learning skills. And we'll talk about some of this happening in your home, and maybe some things, some creative things that you can do to continue to survive this time of just being inside with your family. We have several videos that our hosts and co-hosts will share with you around what to do if you have siblings in the house. And sometimes they may not want to get along at the moment. How do we navigate that challenge? And we're going to also have a video on growth mindset. What do we do when sometimes we don't get it right the first time? And then we also have a video that talks about tips for parents. So it really just focuses on the parents or the guardians of the home. And it gives you strategies that you can use to encourage positive behaviors. And then we have some of our students that did a quick TikTok on positive talk. So what do we do when some of those negative statements are trying to enter our mind? Well, we want to tell ourselves some positive things. So all of the strategies that we have for you today centers around social emotional learning, and that's the IQ versus the EQ. The EQ will be more of the emotional intelligence. How do we control ourselves? How do we make sure that we're working together with others? How are we managing our time? How are we making decisions to make sure that we're having a successful day? So those are all of the things that we'll share with you all today, and we'll do it through video and just through some chat, and hopefully you'll have some questions for us. So introducing our first video, would our first person love to just kind of talk about our first video, and then we'll start to roll that.
All right, so we have a video from Amanda Mallard, and she is a school social worker at Woodmore Elementary School and Dalewood Middle School, and she's talking about surviving with siblings. So I am the oldest of 5, and so I had to survive as a kid. I know all about surviving and having to kick people out of your room and closing the door on folks. And I was normally the one that, like, when mom said you need to have such and such done by the time I get home, I was the one that's like last minute telling everybody, come on, let's get it done. So I could definitely relate to this video. I loved every last second of it. Surviving with siblings.
Hi, my name is Amanda Mallard, and I'm a social worker with Hamilton County Schools. Today, with the help of Braylon and Bailey, we're going to share some helpful tips for surviving social distancing with your siblings. I hope you find these tips very helpful.
I made some hot cocoa. Be careful, it's really hot. You don't control me. Please stop poking me. Stop poking me. Can you please give me my pencil back? No. Give me my pencil back! No. Can you please give me my pencil back? I need to use it for my work. I'm bored. Me too. I miss my friends. Me too. Want to do something fun? Okay. Want to play apples to apples with me? No, I want to play America-opoly. But this game's more fun. No, this game's more fun. But I want to play apples to apples. But I want to play America-opoly. Apples to apples. America-opoly. Apples to apples. America-opoly. Let's solve our problem by picking up these toys with our feet and putting in the basket. Whoever gets done first will play their game. Teal. You're on. 3, 2, 1, go. Wait, where's the... No, it's too hot. Why can't this dope get in there? I did it! I did it!
That was absolutely awesome. I think there were a lot of skills used in that video that we could just use every day because anytime we have to work with people, it's important for us to manage ourselves. I could see one of the sisters would get frustrated, and then one of the tips was just walk away. Sometimes we just need to learn to walk away. And then when it comes to when you have differences, what do you do? What's a successful way to manage like conflict or to make decisions? And they had flip a coin, but the girls decided to do the, I've never seen that game before where you use your feet to put stuffed animals in a bag.
That's a good one though.
It is.
Really
really
good
interesting.
one. So there were a lot of helpful tips in there, not just for managing yourself while being around siblings, but then how to make decisions, as well as just to kind of manage being with other people. Sometimes you do need to get away and find a quiet corner. And then sometimes you do want to be around other people. So do you all have any input or anything you want to share around that video?
I like the different tips, and I like that they're practical, and especially with kids around her, you know, the age of her children, if you pre-teach them those skills rather than feeling like you have to manage all of their arguments and take on that stress, then you can point them back to that skill, right? Figure it out. We talked about how, and then mom can walk away rather than us managing, which takes a lot of stress off of us. So that was great.
I think first I saw myself in some of those videos, but then you also see the innate ability, or even the ability we have sometimes to develop or demonstrate those skills. Sometimes we don't notice, but when a stimulus or our sister, I have two sisters, so I think of my little sister, when she was bothering me, I was never taught, but I just left because I was annoyed. And sometimes we can't name the skill, but that's the skill we encourage our kids to use. So sometimes putting a name to a skill we already have.
Absolutely.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Janelle, I know you mentioned being the oldest and having to be the one to kind of lead the charge and make sure everything was done.
Yeah.
What would you have done if you had all of those skills when you were younger? What would you have done differently?
Maybe there would have been a lot less if I had some of those skills. I was kind of like the hothead out of everybody, so everybody's like, okay, we're just gonna leave her alone. So maybe I would have been a little bit nicer.
Well, it seems as if everyone did what you asked them to do. So there was
For the
success
most
there.
part. It's so funny now. Things have changed. Now I'm listening to what some of my younger siblings are saying. So I'm being told what to do sometimes now.
Well, I was the youngest out of 3, so I can relate. I have 2 older brothers, and for the most part, I get to kind of instruct them on things we need to do. So that was awesome. I really appreciate Amanda for sending that in. Really great tips for kids when they're with siblings. How do you manage conflict? How do you manage yourself? And then, you know, what do you do at the very end of the day? You're still siblings. So, you know, you have to find that time to come back together to appreciate one another. So that was really good. All right. So our next video, Jennifer, talk to us about it.
Okay, so our next video is applicable for parents and kids, and it's brought to us by Miller Fouch. She is a consultant that works with over 50 of our schools with the Tennessee Behavior Support Project, and she promotes school-wide positive behavior supports. It's been awesome in our schools. We've seen the impact, and so what she did was she made a resource for us as parents in how we can provide positive behavior supports at home. So hopefully we get some really good tips from the video. And we can talk about that after and how we can apply to our own homes and our kids.
Hi, my name is Miller Fouch, and I'm an educational consultant for the University of Tennessee at Knoxville. I work on the Tennessee Behavior Supports Project, and we work with K-12 public on setting up positive behavior supports in schools. So we thought we might do some tips for supporting positive behavior at home, since some of us are facing some uncertainties in our houses, and hopefully provide some tips and tricks that can help you all. I am going to provide some things that not only are research-based and things we help schools with, but also some things that I'm doing here at my own house with my two daughters. So hopefully you'll find them helpful and you can use them or refine them or edit them to work for your home as well. So the first thing that I would say is you need to set up clear expectations. Those are helpful not only for me as an adult, but also for students and kids. So define what those look like for your house. If your student happens to go to a school that does use RTIB or PBIS, try to use those same school-wide expectations when developing your home expectations. If you do not have those at your school, just set up like a family motto or slogan that you guys are going to go by. So for my daughters, they go to a school that has what they call the Fantastic Four. And the Fantastic Four are be safe, be kind, be respectful, and be responsible. So on our first day of homeschool here at our house, we talked about what those things look like at school and what they look like here at home right now. My daughter talked about how she could be safe at school by following the line and keeping her hands to herself. And then we talked about what that looks like at home. Things like keeping 4 on the floor. She likes to rock her dining room chair back and forth in an unsafe way, but also keeping our hands to ourselves here. You could also talk about being safe by washing your hands, since that's a big thing to focus on right now. So those are just kind of some of the things we talked about, and then they did pictures of what that looks like for them. The other thing I want to say is that some schools have matrices where they define what these behaviors look like in certain areas. You could do that for your home as well. This is an example of a home matrix. This is super helpful for our kids that struggle with behavior or even kids that are on the spectrum. It clearly defines the expected behavior for each location and connects it to the expectation. If you do a matrix, please remember to do these positively and cut out the negative language. I have trouble with that here in my own house sometimes. I say lots of no's and don'ts, and really we should be focusing on the expected behavior instead of focusing on what isn't right. So this is an example of a home matrix. There's also one here that uses pictures. As you can see on the left, it clearly defines the expected behavior for each location. So those are some examples there. Here's another blank one that we would use. This would be one that my daughter's school has used. So you can see those expectations on the left. Be safe, be kind, be respectful, and be responsible. So you can edit those to work for your house and then have the kids fill them in. This is another thing that I really like, and it's clear expectations for working from home. All of a sudden, we found all of us in this house together, right? My husband is working from home, I'm working from home, and we have kids that are here, and I'm very thankful for that. But we have to set up clear expectations. I like this graphic. It was shared by BIAS, the Behavioral Interventions and Solutions group, on their social media page. It's a nice visual of what you can put up when you're ready and what it looks like when it's time to stop and focus on work. I know at our house we had to set up, if my husband's office door is shut, that means he has meetings and he cannot be disturbed. We can't go in there, we can't yell near his door, we can't knock on his door. But if his door is open, then that means he's available to talk or to help or get us a snack or things like that. So make sure you talk about these as a family and set them up. The next thing to do is have a family meeting. So you're going to have to talk about these things. You want to talk about the expected behaviors or your family motto or slogan and what that's going to look like. So this is what the schools do a really nice job on. Behaviors, you're going to demonstrate the expected behavior and role play them a little bit and make sure that your kids know what it is that's expected, okay? The other thing is you want to explain not only positive reinforcers and also consequences in your house. If those aren't already clear, it's a good time to talk through those things. So an example of positive reinforcers, what we're doing here at our house, as you can see at the top right, so our last name is Fouch. So we have Fouch family Coronacation tickets. So we kind of joke about it a little bit, keep things light. So over there on the right, it's kind, be safe, be respectful, and be responsible. These connect back to those 4 school expectations again. So if we're going to give one to somebody, we're going to mark which area we're recognizing them for. As you can see below that, my younger daughter gave one to my older daughter, and on the back of the ticket, she wrote Y. So she put like art. My older daughter had complimented my younger daughter on a piece of artwork that she did. On our bedroom doors, it should be cyclical, right? So my daughters are giving them to each other. My husband and I are giving them to our daughters. And then last night, one of our daughters even gave one to us. So that's what we're doing for positive reinforcement in our house, is that verbal praise and then the display of the ticket that we got. Choose something that works for your house. You could do points, you could do sticker charts. There's Home Dojo. So if you're already using Dojo in your school, there's an option to do those for home as well. Just make sure it's defined. Don't worry about having a ton of tangible things they can earn right now. Obviously, we can't get out and get to the store and get those kinds of things, but it could be something like they could earn where they sit at the dining room table, or they could earn and pick the movie for the night, or maybe they earn a snack, things like that. Maybe more, screen time or something like that. So get creative with that, but don't super stress about it. Another thing I would like to say is set up a schedule. Your schedule can work for your family. Just choose something that works for you. I know for me, I like consistency, and we have to have a schedule because I'm working. So on the left is the schedule we use for day 1. It's a little more rigid, but that's because I had several meetings that day. I wanted something my daughters could go back to if I was busy and see what the next activity was. The schedule on the right has the first few things that we had to get done in the day, and then on the bottom, they have more choice. So it's nice to have choice, especially right now in a time when we don't have a lot of choice and a lot of things are out of our control. Give me a little bit of choice when I can have it. So they have all the activities that they have to get done, and then they mark them off as they do them, but they get to choose what order they're in. So that's just something I would recommend. If you have somebody who is a non-reader or who needs a visual schedule, there's lots of resources for that online. You could even do a first then schedule if that's something that appeals to you. Do something that works for you, okay? Step 4 is consequences. We got to talk about consequences. Problem behaviors are going to occur. I stress to you to please step back and take a deep breath, because there's a lot of inconsistency in our world right now, and that is going to trickle into our houses. But when problem behaviors occur, please remember to remain calm, reflect back and remind your child of the expectation. Maybe it's those home expectations you've set up. How does it connect to your family motto? You want to reteach and model the expected behavior. Make sure that your child knows that expected behavior, maybe model it for them, and use consequences appropriately. Decide ahead of time as a family what consequences there will be for the problem behaviors. So I hope this has been helpful. We have a lot more information on our websites. If you're interested in that at all, we are a cross-state project, so our websites are listed here. Please reach out to us if you need any help or additional information. And thanks for joining me. I appreciate it.
So I hope you guys enjoyed the video as much as I did. I think Miller has a lot of great ideas about how to bring structure and consistency into the home, which is great because parents are being tasked not just with staying home, but completing schoolwork and keeping our kids engaged until we return to school. So I particularly love the tip where she says to reach out to the school and see what the expectations are at the school, because if you can model those at home, our kids should already be used to what those are. And we're bringing a piece of school into the home to create consistency during the learning time. And I know in my house, we have done some of these positive behavior supports with earnings and consequences. And the other great thing is when you've already laid out the rewards and the consequences and everyone's clear, it takes, again, a little stress off as the parent. Sometimes it's not the behavior that's stressful, it's dealing with how am I going to handle this right now. So when you already have a go-to of, okay, when A happens, I'm going to respond with B, it's quick and it's tends to be a little less emotional, a little less stressful, and more. You guys think about the video? Did you see anything that you think would be applicable in your homes or for families?
I love that, like, they were all, like you said, applicable, practical tips
Yeah.
that, I mean, I could start implementing today or tomorrow. So I love that.
I think doing a schedule sometimes may seem like it's a hard work, but I think as soon as you complete the schedule, then it facilitates the whole day. So up front, it'll be a little busy trying to what we're gonna do here, what we're gonna do there, but after that, everything will go smooth. So I think that is very beneficial for every family.
Right. I really appreciate her adding the tip of reinforcing positive behavior. So she talked about just the rewards and, just the positive things you could say or ways to reward children at home as well as rewarding yourself. So sometimes we do a lot of hard work and as she mentioned throughout this stressful. So we need to assure that we are giving grace to others. And then when things are going the way that we hope that they will go, that we take some time to kind of reinforce that behavior. So, thought that was really good. So Jennifer, I do know that you have a video around quiet time that we'll be showing after spring break that includes you and your daughter. So could you talk just a little bit about that, and then we'll move to our next video.
Absolutely. So on our SEL YouTube channel, we have a couple videos that me and my daughter created about some positive behavior supports we're doing at home. And one of the videos is about quiet time. And in that video, I interview my daughter and just ask her from her 6-year-old lens, why is quiet time a good thing? Why do we all need quiet time? And then how that's really impacted our family. So it was a fun time to get her perspective. And I just go over some tips about how to manage that time when you have multiple children with different age groups in the home. And hopefully it's a resource that parents can use along with some other positive behavior support videos.
Yep. Very good. Thank you. We hope all of the strategies and skills and resources that we offer are helpful to students as well as to parents. So for our students that are listening, thank you. Jot some of these things down or tell some of these things to someone so you can start using them at home. And then for our parents, you as well, jot some things down. If you have comments or things to add, share them with us so we can share them with the community. So our next video up is a video that was created by Rocco and Lisa Blakely. So they are school counselors in our North River community, and they created a video around self-control. So we talked a little bit last week about the things we can and we can't control. So theirs is entitled Thermostat. Are you a thermostat or are you a thermometer? So let's listen to what Ms. Blakely and Mr. Rocco has to say about being a thermostat or a thermometer.
That is so hot. Let's see if anybody notices.
98.6. A thermometer takes our temperature, but a thermostat sets the temperature. Here's a counselor question for you. How is a thermostat, which we could set the temperature, how is a thermostat a lot like our attitude?
Let's see if anybody notices how low the temperature just went. Boys and girls, this is a thermostat. This controls the temperature at my house. When I turn the temperature down a little bit. When it gets too cold, we may turn the temperature up a little bit. And then we set it and we leave it. We don't change it from minute to minute or second to second, just so that we're comfortable in our own house. So we're a lot like a thermostat. We know that a lot of things have changed in your world. A lot of things have stayed the same too, if you really think about it. But the things that we can't control are things like, hey, we're in virtual school now. You're seeing your teachers and your friends on a screen, which is pretty cool, but it's different. It's a change. The weather. When it's storming outside, you might feel a little bit scared. You can't control the weather, but you can control how you respond to it. And if you get too scared, what are some ways that you can calm down about it? So sometimes when we feel a bit stressed or icky is when we're trying to change the things that we can't or control the things that we can't. So focus on the things that you can control, your attitude and how you respond to things, how you take care of those big thoughts and feelings, whether or not you take responsibility for actions that you've had or the words that you use. Our actions, our words, our attitude, and our effort.
That's awesome. Very good. All right. So it's always one of my favorite things to kind of mentally keep for myself. What can I control and what can I control? We have to always remind ourselves that it's important for us to maintain that self control and not allow every situation or everything to kind of change our attitude or change our behaviors. That's something we have control of. And I love the way that Lisa and Mr. Rocco just kind of delivered that. It helps to remind kids, even the youngest kids, that you do have some control. I was thinking about the kids on our previous videos, the two sisters. There's control that they had, and they were actually they had an opportunity to kind of operate within their control by making some decisions that was helpful for them. So I always think that's just a great reminder to think about what are some of the things I can and what are some of the things I can't control. So hard question for you all. Name something you can control and something you can't control. What are the things you can control and the things you can't control?
Oh gosh. Okay, I'll start. The things I can't control, I cannot control, is to pick up after himself. No matter how many times I ask, I cannot make him do it. What I can control is, do I want to pick it up anyways? I mean, it's just a cup, blah, blah, blah. I'll just pick it up. I can control my actions.
Love it.
Yeah. I guess what came to my mind is I have control to, be prepared when it comes to learning with my kids. I can get that stuff ready the night before. I can get clothes ready. I'm totally capable of that. And it makes my day a lot less stressful. And that's my choice, to not procrastinate and deal with things in the moment and take care of things. What I can't control is when I've made those plans and they don't always go exactly how I've planned, schedule gets thrown off, or responsibility comes up, or my children have a need. And so I have to, again, have grace for them and patience. It's really an exercise in patience. And my 6-year-old actually said to me the other day, I was getting a little frustrated, and I said, I have a work call I have to make. She said, Mom, your children are more important than work. Remember that. I said, dang, you're right. You are more important than work. However, we have to balance, right? And so we had that conversation. So she keeps me grounded. But yeah, a lot we can control.
Yep. She's very wise. Sounds like she's very wise.
Ahead of her days, huh?
Yeah.
I would think about something that comes to mind right away. It's since with these recent events is I can't control the stores being open.
Yeah.
So most stores, activities, gyms are closed. So what I can control is what I do. So for example, I enjoy running a lot, going to the gym. So what I do is I go around the neighborhood and I still find a creative way of doing what I enjoy doing in other ways. So
yeah, that's good. That's good. I guess I immediately thought big picture. So we can't control all of the changes that have occurred over the past 2.5 weeks. But I think that the things that we could control is how we responded to it. And I feel like as a team, everyone has responded extremely well. And even just with this effort that we're making to continue to educate our kids on things they can do to manage themselves and things, kind of outside of their realm, it was just a great way to respond to a change that we had no control over. So, yeah.
We all find a silver lining to it. So.
Well, we have to. So, and I think we're going to kind of get into that with our next 2 videos, because Mario is going to talk to us about a growth mindset with an amazing video that he created, one in English, and then also he created a Spanish version for it.
Yeah, so actually there's a game there. If anyone eventually wants to play it, I have fun with the kids playing it. They get very competitive, like, I want to get ahead, but it also shows them on relationship skills and how to work together. So growth mindset right now. So it's a lady called Dr. Carol Dweck, and she just proposed something. And this is what I want to get to. She says, if we change the way we think, then that could help us change the way we learn. And especially in a time right now where we're changing the way we're learning, helping the kids change the way that their teachers just helping me and helping them believe, like, you know what, no matter what happens, no matter if this gets difficult, if this assignment gets hard, just keep going, working with it. Eventually they'll get better. So I think that's why it's so important for the kids to even, for even adults, for us to even develop this growth mindset so we can model it for the kids and help them with their assignments and stuff. And eventually for the kids not to give up with these stuff. This is something new for all of us. Yeah. And if we show this growth mindset, I think it will be more optimistic for the kids and even for on our whole country. So
right. Excellent.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Mr. Gonzalez. I'm the school counselor at Howard Connect Academy. And today I want to play a game with y'all. I call it The Maze. To help me today is my friend, Cam. To find the secret pathway to get to his beloved Cheetos. He doesn't know the pathway. There's only 3 rules. So Cam can only move 1 square at a time. The second rule is he can't move diagonally. So he can only go forward, to the left, to the right, and backwards. Every time he messes up, he has to start all over. So this is the pathway. Let's see how he does. Well, congrats to Cam to making it through the maze and getting to his Cheetos. Now he's enjoying them. But the purpose of this game was just to talk about fixing growth mindset. Many of you probably know what it means, but let me just give you a quick definition. A fixed mindset when someone believes that they can't get better at something because they don't believe they're good at it. So they believe that their abilities is something fixed. Let me give you an example. I feel sometimes that I can't get better at playing guitar because I feel like I'm not good at music. However, we all know that by practice, I could get better at playing guitar. That displays a growth mindset. Growth mindset is the belief that your abilities could improve by practice. Think of this maze as life. Just as Cam had the goal to get to his Cheetos, we all have goals. It could be to get an A on the test, to make it to college, to make it on the team, to make it to nationals. We all have goals. This upcoming week, you'll have some challenges that you'll face, assignments, exams. Like Cam, though, learn not to give up. Even though he got frustrated, sometimes he got so close and had to start all over. That got him a little bit frustrated, but he never gave up, and that's what helped him reach his goal. So don't let your mistakes or frustration keep you from reaching your goal. Keep practicing, don't give up, and you'll get there. Till next time, Mr. Gonzalez.
That was so awesome.
Yeah, it was
I
amazing.
absolutely love that. I love that.
I actually, we had more fun playing the game. We were so intrigued by it. My friend that was recording eventually he wanted to play too. Like, let me play also. So we all made it on a fun game. But I think the application is twofold, actually. Sometimes it could apply to parents. You know, they tend to get frustrated with the kids trying to teach them. This is a new territory we're all navigating. So sometimes you feel like the kid is going to learn something. Oh, yeah, it seems like he has the answer. She has the answer. And then they go deviate from the answer and you just get a little bit frustrated. So yourself as a parent, the students having grace for themselves too, as they do assignments too, and not giving up.
Excellent lesson. Excellent lesson. I love that you refer to the Cheetos as his beloved Cheetos.
That's a thing. I was just thinking, like, my husband would love this game. I don't know what the thing is with hot Cheetos.
The kids love
So
their
hey, that's a
Takis.
strategy. If you want people, people that love Cheetos, you want them to pick up these things off the floor, put Cheetos on the table,
Lay a
and
bag of Cheetos beside
Positive
it. That's
behavior support.
Yeah,
Right.
positive. You see,
Yes.
we're all integrating it. You
Yes.
could put the maze could be all the cups he leaves around, or
Yeah.
That's true. I love that. Hey, that works at home for kids too, parents. So listen up. Positively motivate your students to get things done, and when they don't get it done the first time, continue to encourage them to work a little bit harder. So
Oh, one more thing, Mario, can you share where we can find the Spanish version? Oh, there we have it.
Patricia, is it online?
yes. So that should, I think we downloaded the Spanish version as well. And it will be on our YouTube and also on our Hamilton County website.
Okay, yeah. So
All right. So any more comments about the growth mindset or ways to encourage students to continue to develop a growth mindset?
Yeah, I had one thought, again, integrating the positive behavior supports. Some kids, when we're working with kids in schools and adults, some kids naturally tend to try when they fail. They more naturally get up and do it again. And some kids, that doesn't come as naturally. Again, it's a skill we're developing, but that's a personal goal you can set with your kids when you're doing positive behavior support. If you know your child needs to work on that grit or trying or having a growth mindset or maybe accepting feedback when they don't know how to do something the first time, you can actually incentivize and reward them just for doing that, right? Just for when you see them trying again when something's hard, really specifically acknowledging them and rewarding them. I love the effort you're showing, right? And just to encourage that and show that it's okay and it's celebrated to try again.
You're absolutely right. I was reading an article, this was a couple of years ago, and it mentioned in the article that one of the main ways that students succeed is through failure. So when you find someone that's highly successful, it could be a kid, teenager, an adult, you have to ask them about their journey. People are not successful from winning all the time. And I'm sure we can all agree, success comes from failure. So how many times have you failed? But not just failing, but once you fail, being determined enough to continue until you do get that win that you want. So I heavily believe in having a growth mindset that students develop their IQ. They kind of grow their brains over time. And smartness or intelligence is not fixed, meaning that you're not born with a certain amount of smartness and that can't grow, that you're able to grow every year as long as you continue to challenge yourself to grow. So thank you, Mario, for sharing that.
Yeah, that was great.
Do you want to tell us about our very last TikTok video?
So I think this is a little, I was actually having fun with it, trying to learn to dance. So this is a video about we as students, as adults, we all would have to experience this. We're not immune to this. So negative thoughts would come as we get bored, as we don't have nothing to do. Sometimes what is abundant in our head, sometimes it's just negative, unfortunately. But this video shows us a little way to combat that and have fun with it, even in the midst of negative thoughts and negative talk that comes in. So this is Donna Patson's video with her 2 daughters.
I'm Donna Patton, social worker for East Hamilton Middle and High School.
And I'm Maya.
And I'm Taylor.
And this is a lesson on reducing stress and improving your life with positive self-talk.
We hope this video influences you
to make a difference.
Hey, things to remember. You are perfect in your own way.
You are God made.
You are beautiful in your own way.
Believe in yourself.
Don't let anyone bring you down.
You got this.
You can do anything you put your mind to.
Don't worry about the people who talk behind your back.
Because they are behind you for a reason.
Lift up those who you see down.
And as you see in this video, you can make a difference in anyone's life. We challenge you to make this TikTok so we can see how great you are.
I think in the midst of this time when we get so much bad news or scary news, this positive talk is what we all need at this certain point.
Yes, I absolutely agree. As we've kind of said throughout the show, that, there are a lot of things that we can look at and say, oh, these bad things are happening, and we can complain about things. But if we think about the things that we can control, there is a silver lining to it. So there has been a lot of positive things that have come from this time. There's more family time. There's more time for us to share with our community. So there are some positive things that's come from this. So positive talk is very important, and I appreciate them for sharing that video.
Yeah, go ahead, Mario.
No, go ahead, Jennifer. Go ahead.
I loved the video, and it reminded me, Patricia, of one of the trainings we went to, that one of the SEL, social and emotional learning competencies, is actually being able to, when we have negative thoughts, stop them, right? Because we all have negative thoughts about ourselves, about life. And instead of going down that rabbit hole, being able to have that inner self dialogue and say, this isn't true. This is the truth. And then moving forward in a positive, productive way. So I love that the video really highlighted that skill.
Very good.
Yeah. I actually played a game with my kids, and we would all write negative thoughts that come through our mind and make a paper ball. And we'll have to hit them if they were negative and let them go if they're positive. So we'll have like a little fake bat, and every time someone would throw a negative thought, we'll just swing it out, and they'll have to replace it with a positive thought, just for them to navigate through that.
Well, I'll tell you, those girls encouraged me, and I was watching the video and I was saying, I can't do these dances. I'm encouraged. I'm gonna have a growth mindset, and I'm gonna go learn those dances.
I love that. When you learn the dance, teach it to us.
I got you next Wednesday.
Very good. Well, I feel that all of the videos that we shared today help to address like self-awareness, being aware of our own feelings, like the thoughts that we have, and then knowing how to control those. That's the self-management. And then the social awareness, being aware of others that are around you, and then being able to make decisions. Sometimes you might need a break. So healthy things you can do to take a break, or healthy things you can do to resolve conflict. That's all a part of social emotional learning, or what we call emotional intelligence. So these were the strategies that we wanted to share with you all today for surviving homeschool with your families. And we hope that you all use them. And even if you have some that you would like to share, don't hesitate to reach out.
Absolutely. Mario, we did have one question asking, do you have a YouTube channel?
No, I don't.
Oh no, we got to change that.
Yeah, I'll have to create one. I was actually working on making a website. So
okay.
But I don't want. I'll have the website before I have the YouTube channel.
Well, just keep us posted. That's all we got.
Definitely, yeah.
Brianna, we will keep you posted on Mario's YouTube channel. Before we close out, we do have just a couple of updates. I know that there have been families that have been enjoying the food delivery that we've been able to do. Exponential numbers. I believe over 100,000 meals have been delivered over the past several days. We're not going to be able to sustain that through spring break. So today was our last meal delivery day, and then starting next week and then through spring break, we'll have our pickup locations. And all of that information can be found on hcde.org/coronavirus. We have STEAM Day coming up. So just another outlet for students to get creative with their parents. If you are doing that, make sure you post your videos or videos or photos and share them with us on our Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. And I think that's all. Did I miss anything?
No, I think you may have covered it. All right. So thanks everyone for joining us today. Thank you for those of you that listen live. And then to our amazing co-hosts, thank you so much for being with us and our team. So Better Together is our hashtag, and we are definitely better together. So thanks so much, everyone.
Absolutely. Have a good one.